Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be talking about The Flash. But before I get into it, please subscribe to this channel, ring that bell icon down below to be notified when I post more videos. Also be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. Oh, and happy Valentine's Day. And yes, of course, I'm wearing red. This video is going to be talking about, The Flash. Recently I just saw the trailer. I finally got around to watching it. I really was kind of holding off on it because I didn't want to watch it until I saw well, it's just the fact that I'm not that interested in the movie. I'm gonna be honest about this. I'm not like totally vested into this movie the main reason being Ezra Miller. On principle alone, I did not want to watch it because, well, I believe that most people should openly own up for their actions and their misdeeds. It's very much insulting to see one of DC's biggest heroes played by a criminal. Now, I'm going to get back to this. The story for The Flash, as most people know, is quite common knowledge for most people. Now, personally, I'm more vested into Wally West. I grew up with the character in the cartoons. I grew up simply knowing that character. So, seeing this version, Barry Allen, granted I've seen it before. You got the CW Flash, and of course, in the comic books, Barry Allen is the Flash. Now, mind you, I saw the trailer, and the trailer in itself is honestly pretty good. I love the effects. I still don't like the Flash's suit. The Flash's suit is still very off. It has this very leathery texture to it that looks kind of weird. But the main problem that I had with it is they gave him too much of a fake muscle suit. If you're going to give someone a muscle suit, then you need to make it fitting it needs to fit their body type. Especially when it comes to the neck. The design around the neck makes him look like he's got bad posture. And I understand why, because the actor himself is very small framed. Honestly, I'm more keen on them just keeping him small framed or recasting him with someone who looks like the Flash from the comic books. The overall story seems to be focused on the classic Flashpoint storyline that most people know. At this point, it's become a commonality. And, you know, I wouldn't have any problems with it. Personally, I like the Flashpoint storyline. The storyline follows Barry Allen trying to save his mother, traveling through time, and he inadvertently, through traveling through time, although he manages to save his mother, he is unaware of what he's done. And in this storyline, this is in the comics. In the movie, however, it doesn't follow fully the original story. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and stick to the storyline of the comic book to begin with. The comic book storyline follows Barry Allen as he struggles with his life as the Flash. Although he's doing great in terms of being a hero and his relationship with Iris, he still mourns for the death of his mother. It's something he's held on to his entire life. And although he knows who's responsible, he ultimately all he wants is to save his mother. He wants her back. And so he goes back in time and stops, the one who kills her. The storyline of the original Flash was very much a simple story, very clear cut, and then U-Bard goes back in time. U-Bard being the Reverse Flash, also known as Professor Zoom, but it really depends on which storyline you're going with. But Barry alters all of that, undoes whatever happened, and saves his mother. In doing so, it causes ripple effects, which inadvertently changes the course of history. And in so doing, he basically makes it so that there's no metahumans in the world. But the ones that do exist are all evil. That's essentially what happened. And the world basically comes to an end. Unless he changes, the past, undoes what he did. So that ends up happening. Now, mind you, I'm pretty sure they're going to pretty much follow that exact formula to a degree. But it seems, instead of Superman being a catalyst for kind of resetting history and him being the key, as he's supposed to be, the key to fixing or the key to maintaining order in the the universe, the multiverse, they've changed it to where it's more about Supergirl. Now, mind you, that can be fine. I don't really mind at that point. What I didn't like was the fact that at first, based on a lot of the promos and all that imagery, Supergirl, the actress that plays her, I think her name is Sasha Calle, I'm not sure how experienced she is. So instead of simply giving her the normal storyline of Kara and basically making this version, she basically has Superman's story where Superman has been held captive by the government and is being experimented on and all that. And from what I can tell, based on the trailer, She escapes with the help of Batman, and you know, the best part about the trailer, I have to say, was Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton reappearing as the 1980s Batman, 1989. It's great to see him again, but the fact is, this is a Flash. I would love to see Jay Garrick Flash. Man, that would have been better. That would, or at least more entertaining to see. Jay Garrick, Wally West, these are the characters I would love to see in the Flash movie. Granted, they could, with this reset, change things, but one of the ideas that I had that would have been more entertaining to see, at least from my perspective, this is just my own 2 cents. I would love to see a Jay Garrick, like Barry Allen exists in this world where Jay Garrick is now a retired Flash. Barry Allen is the current Flash. He's unaware of Jay Garrick, but Jay Garrick himself is essentially watching from the distance, kind of like how Wonder Woman was just observing humanity, not really living as part of it, not really being Wonder Woman. He is essentially no longer the Flash. He is retired, but he still watches idly. He watches and he keeps to himself. And then he's forced into a fight and tries to stop Barry from changing time. He can sense it because he's more experienced in time travel and speed and everything. He can sense the ripples in time. And so make it to where basically he tries to stop Barry from saving his mother, and there's a fight. He loses. He changes time, but he's still somewhat aware. And eventually he goes through time to follow him, tries to bring him back, and it should be at the very end. Barry Allen sacrifices himself to stop whatever's happening, to undo it all. And then the new Flash is Wally West, the red-headed wonder, red-hair wonder, the original Wally West that everyone loves from the comic books. It's one of the best versions of the Flash. He has this altruistic, very hard-on-his-sleeve personality. He is very much the symbol of hope. He has a bigger and generally closer relationship with Clark Kent, Superman, and all that. He is very personable with everyone in the team in the Justice League. And so honestly, I think that would be one of the more entertaining storylines to have. And of course, I do enjoy the Flashpoint story, but the idea that they're introducing the Flash so early on, and also not actually I wouldn't say it's early. It's clear that this has been delayed for so many years. But with a reboot, if they're going to do a reset, then they should just ignore the Flash movie. Hold off. I would have preferred to postpone movie and just bring in the new Flash, not the Ezra Miller version from the Zack Snyder, the Snyderverse. The reality is, it feels a bit like a shortcut. They could have just, rebooted the whole thing, recasted the Flash, and, try to keep it as comic book accurate as possible. Mind you, I know for a fact that most writers don't like doing that because of the fact that they want to write their own thing, and I feel that that's a problem. And sorry for the color fluctuations. For some reason, it keeps shifting. Okay, I turned off auto white balance. Anyway, the whole entire trailer that I watched, when I was watching the trailer, there are little details that I noticed. There's, the Flash meeting himself, another Ezra Miller. It seems redundant now. However, there could be an interesting point of view. In the comic books, one of the things that most people tend to overlook is that Eobard Thawne changed his appearance to look just like Barry. This is just a theory, mind you. It may not be anything. But you have Barry Allen confronting Barry Allen, and there's a moment where they talk to each other, and he's like, "You're wearing my face. That's my face." Like, essentially, kind of a small little Easter egg. And pardon my appearance, by the way. I'm just now noticing it. I'm wearing my gym clothing. I just finished working out. Anyway, when it comes to the whole storyline of the Flash, it seems a bit shaky at best in terms of direction. Now, mind you, it could be really good. I may watch the movie. I may not. I'm not really sure. Not totally vested in the entire project of the Flash. I've kind of lost interest in that version of the Flash ever since Ezra Miller took on the role way back in the Justice League movie. It wasn't something I didn't like his interpretation of the character. It's not his fault. It's the writing. Unless, of course, he did have say in how the character should be portrayed, at which point yeah, it's a bit off, bit shaky, and doesn't really seem like Barry Allen. Anyway, I'm just an old-fashioned geek who's read all the Barry Allen comic books of the Flash, every version of him. I've read the Jay Garrick storylines. I've read Barry Allen. I've read stuff about Max Mercury. I mean, every character I've known everything about these characters since I was a teenager. So ultimately, I just want it to adapt. I want them to adapt the storylines of the comic books as closely as they can. I want to see the Flash as he is in the comics. That's all. Hopefully, they are able to capture that well. And when it comes to the Flash trailer, I am interested in seeing Michael Keaton reprise his role as Batman, and the fact that they show Ben Affleck's Batman in there as well. That was interesting to see. Ben Affleck returning as Batman is just ultimately kind of amazing to see him actually return. Even if it's brief, I'm okay with that. When it comes to Sasha Calle, she could do well. I'm not going to judge her performance until I see it. And that's if I actually watch it. But ultimately, it's kind of odd that they gave her Superman storyline and they could have just brought in Henry Cavill. My assumption is basically they didn't actually reshoot a lot of things and they just shot what they had and didn't have the ability to redo it. And they just held off based on the fact that they didn't have the money to release it. I mean, it's a company. Businesses need money to function. So obviously, it could have been a lot of little things, a lot of little details that could have affected the whole project. Anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed listening to me rant and ramble. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel and ring that bell icon down below again. And hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. Anyway, please be sure to share with your friends. Anyway, thank you for watching. This has been Create TV. I'll see you next time. Bye.